Welcome to a special presentation of the very best of the Black Hills Conference, the St. Thomas More Cavaliers, where tonight, under extremely windy conditions out on the open plains on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, we bring you the Lakota Tech Tatanka and the St. Thomas More Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are the number 3 ranked team in the statewide Kettleland Media Poll in South Dakota Boys 11B football, and tonight they take on a Lakota Tech Tatanka team in search of their first win of the year. The Cavaliers are rolling. They had a 50-0 win that they clinched with 5:31 to go in the third quarter over the Custer Wildcats in their conference opener. Tonight's non-conference battle for the Cavaliers is an opportunity for St. Thomas More to start 5-0 this year. The Cavs are hungry, they're focused, they're determined, and they came down the highway today with a business-like resolve, ready to battle Lakota Tech on the road here on an amazing turf field inside the modern track that we have here at Lakota Tech. Well, this is a great environment. It is a very blustery, windy day. Right now we're broadcasting from the rooftop of the press box, so we hope to keep our wind interference to a minimum. I want to say sincere thanks to our good friend Jason Stamper. Jason is our camera operator. He is keeping things rooted or moored down, and he's also filming tonight. Of course, Jason and his wife Tracy, we all know very well, and their son Carter is the place kicker on this year's Cavaliers team. Well, the Cavaliers have put in some extensions to some existing plays this week. They've had a great week of practice, according to head coach Austin Hagan, and the Cavaliers definitely focusing on being 1-0 at everything they do. The Cavaliers, who were extremely battle-tested to start the year with a 28-14 win over Sioux Valley in a battle of top 5 opponents way back on August the 22nd, over a month ago. The Cavs progressively on paper have been facing teams that have been perhaps a little weaker than the previous week, and that is not necessarily in line with the great Prussian philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who once said that in order, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I mean, you want to get tougher, just as former Army head coach Red Blake said back in the 40s, that there's something to be said. You can't build strong teeth when you're not eating, if you're eating mush. But the reality is the Cavaliers, they must play whoever they line up against and play their very best football. And tonight they're going to get the best shot from Lakota Tech, just like they got Custer's best shot. Understand Custer did a little talking before the game last week. That was an extra motivator for the Cavaliers. St. Thomas More tonight, they are ready to go. They are fired up, and they are focused. They are trying to get to 5-0. Looking at the Class B point standings coming into Week 5 of this season, the Cavaliers are tied with Wagner and Elk Point Jefferson at 45 seed points. That means if the season ended today, that the Cavaliers would be in a position where they would be in a toss-up spot, so to speak, for either home field advantage through the playoffs, home field in their bracket, or having to go on the road potentially in the Final Four conference semifinal round. But the Cavaliers, the Red Raiders, and the Huskies, EPJ, Wagner, and STM, they have quite a bit of separation. We'll keep an eye on a big game tonight. Woonsocket, Wessington Springs. The Bucks are taking on number 2 ranked Wagner. That's a battle of undefeated teams. Certainly that will have a big shakeout on the landscape going into the final 3 games. And then next week we could have a 1 versus 2 showdown between Wagner and Elk Point Jefferson. For STM, they do not play another ranked opponent. They will face conference foes the final 3 weeks, at home against Belfouche, at Hot Springs. That's always a tough game. And then at home against Lead Deadwood on the final game of the season. But the Cavaliers tonight finish up their non-conference play, and the Cavs have really made a living as road warriors. Consider this, going back to last year's first round matchup at Groton area, the Cavaliers tonight are playing their 6th road game in their last 8 games. That is almost unheard of, but so it goes. The Cavs were the 11th seed in the tournament playoff field last year, and here they are tonight playing their 3rd road game out of the first 5 games of the season, and they have their first ever trip to Lakota Tech tonight. And I talked to Stone Durham. He played for the Cavs, assistant coach Stone Durham. If he played for the Cavs about 10 years ago, I asked him if he had played a game here at Pine Ridge, and he said, well, no, but they had played at Todd County and I think at Lower Brule, and they had played against some schools located on some of the tribal territory in the state. Well, St. Thomas More, they are playing great football, and they are relatively healthy. Cavaliers will not have Joe Giacometto available tonight, but we're told by Coach Hagan that Joe Giacometto will be back next week for the home game against Belfouche. The Cavs have Josh Elder back at full go status. He played last week, but it was kind of a little bit on transitionary terms. Tonight he is rock and roll, ready to go, lock and load, and that is going to be a big boost to the defense. He's really the quarterback of that defense, his middle linebacker. In addition to that, Josh Elder being back, this is really a healthy team. Cavs excited to renew acquaintances with Lakota Tech. Last year, St. Thomas More had a 35-0 lead over Lakota Tech by the end of the first quarter in a game we had for you in Rapid City at Cavalier Field under the sunshine on a Friday afternoon in early October last year. Now we're going to go ahead here and give everybody a quick word from our friends at Security First Bank. Whether you're cheering from the bleachers or spiking on the court, show your Cavalier pride with the Cavalier debit card from Security First Bank. It's team spirit in your wallet. Get your Cavalier debit card from Security First Bank today. Security First Bank, member FDIC. Just like the Cavs, we believe in teamwork. Security First Bank is proud to support our schools, athletes, and communities on and off the field. Security First Bank, your community partner, member FDIC. Well, here we go. The Cavaliers are moments away from coming out for the coin toss. Looks like we may even get this game started a little bit before 6 o'clock this evening. Maybe it'll be right around our expected kickoff of 6 o'clock. We're happy to have all of you with us tonight where you are tuning in, and we will go ahead and keep you updated. A score coming in from my good friend Steve Ammerman at News Radio KOTA. Central trailing Brandon Valley 41-0 That game is in the second quarter. We're going to hear the introductions in a moment. Good crowd on hand.
Our traditions and our game as we host it.
And get ready to go. We'll get to the starting lineups momentarily. We're going to turn things over to the public address announcer for our introductions.
To get fired up. Let's meet tonight's visitor.
And we go to the public address announcer here at Lakota Tech High School. We're going to go ahead and give you the starting lineups. The wind is picking things up quite a bit. We're on the roof of the press box with high winds tonight, and Jason Stamper, our camera operator, volunteer, helping out in a big way. But many of these names are being pronounced the improper way. So let's go ahead and get to the starting lineups. We'll go with the offense. Starting at center, 250-pound senior Cole Nielsen. Left guard, 225-pound sophomore Jackson Rush. Left tackle, 270-pound junior Rush Turner. 280-pound senior Marty Reeve is the right guard. The right tackle is 220-pound senior Brody Lee. At receiver, it's 170-pound senior Ryan Negebauer. 190-pound senior Broden Sales. The backfield, fullback, 225-pound senior Josh Elder. And tailback, 180-pound senior Graydon Juvie. And the commander is under center, 169-pound sophomore Noah Wald. And that's the starting lineup for STM. They will start on, we're not sure if they're going to start on offense. We're going to introduce the lineups here momentarily for Lakota Tech. 0-3 Stars gets the start tonight at receiver. Hunter Brewer gets the start at running back. Calvin Weston. Javi Janice gets the start. Draven Wolf gets the start tonight.
Right tackle, Mason Tools. That's your starting lineup for offense for the Mighty Tatanka.
And the Mighty Tatanka have been introduced, and they are gathering around the 30-yard line. Cavaliers situated on the far side of the field. You can easily see them with our camera. Thank all of you for tuning in. We apologize for wind interference. There's nothing we can do about it. We are literally on the plains here on the Pine Ridge Reservation tonight. We're getting ready for the introduction of our colors momentarily. We want to take a moment and just offer a moment of silence. We understand a dear friend and member of the St. Thomas More community, Scott Sebo, passed away from a battle with cancer, and we just, our hearts and prayers are with the Sebo family and everyone impacted by that loss. A moment of silence for Mr. Scott Sebo.
All right. Fans, can I please have you rise as the colors have approached the field?
We'll now go ahead and turn things over to our public address announcer for the introduction of our colors tonight.
U.S. Army Reserve and James Blackfeather, United States Marine Corps. applause. They're going to sing our flag song for us. Special moment here. All right, everybody, please stand. These ladies are going to start.
And we're moments away from the coin toss. The
We're getting ready to kick this baby.
captains for St. Thomas More, Cole Nielsen, Graydon Juvie, Max Speed. And
Big game.
Pearson Morganfield coming out to
I'm glad you
meet
guys
the
always-
captains for Lakota Tech.
Sound good.
Captains for Lakota Tech are Marcel Swallow, along with Asia Red Bear and Tayson Schreiner. We're getting closer to the introductory. The coin toss, we'll see who starts with the ball first. St. Thomas More's head coach Austin Hagen has a lot of respect for the Tatanka's head coach Eric Swiftwater. Says he's doing the right things. Is a very, very good coach. Knows him well from football camps, and you know, these are opponents that you have to really be mindful of if you're St. Thomas More, because they are getting better because they're being coached up. They've got numbers. They're a Class A school, not a Class B school. The Tatanka has won the toss. They want to receive. The wind will be in the face of Lakota Tech as we get things started. So Lakota Tech wants a chance to score first, and that could be a huge confidence lift for a 0-4 Tatanka squad if they could get on the board first here. So St. Thomas More will get ready to get down the field and get after it. The Cavaliers, by the way, special teams wise, a lot of young players really making their mark. I was talking to head coach Austin Hagan on the bus ride down. He made a point to recognize Henry Ratanowitz really coming on, freshman Xander Zanstra, and Brody Willits, and also recognizing that play of Quan Harper, especially with Josh Elder being out, playing as a sophomore linebacker. I know we really focus on the constant major contributions of our amazing senior class, 11 players strong, but it is truly everyone right now giving their all for the big goal, which is to get to the Dome and hoist that championship trophy in the middle of November. First things first, the Cavaliers begin the second half of their regular season in a matter of moments, looking to get to 5-0. Mike Fell with you. Jason Stamper tonight, our volunteer camera operator. The Cavs will kick off left to right across your screen. You're watching Security First Bank coverage of St. Thomas More football. There's a kick from Stamper, and it's through the end zone and out of bounds. And the wind absolutely gave that ball at least an extra 10 to 15 yards distance. There will be no return. So Lakota Tech will start out on offense. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Cavaliers defense ready to get after it. Last week when Custer had the ball, it did not take long for the Cavs to pressure the Custer quarterback, and Max Speed was able to get a pick six. Keep in mind, this high wind makes it very difficult to pass, and the Cavaliers like to pass. Asia Red Bear hands off to freshman running back Hunter Brewer, who's tackled for a loss of 3 yards. That'll bring up 2nd down and 14. The Tatanka in their home black jerseys with the white numerals and red trim.
7 with that last tackle.
Quan Harper a moment ago made the tackle for STM. Broden Sales also in on the stop. 2nd down and 13. The wind is absolutely howling in the direction of the Tatanka offense. Throw by Red Bear is incomplete. Good pressure up the middle that last play from Max Speed. Also putting on some pressure for the Cavaliers on that play was Harper. And the Cavaliers look like, are they calling for a timeout? No, they're not. 3rd down and 13. Player comes off the field quickly for Lakota Tech. Cavaliers trying to get a 3 and out. Keep in mind, STM has the wind at their back throughout the first quarter. I formation. Actually, one man behind the quarterback, Red Bear. The Tatanka go 4 wide. Speed gets pressure, and there's an interception. Max Speed hit Red Bear as he threw the ball, and it's picked off by St. Thomas More. Coming down with it for the Cavaliers on that last play.
Number 6 for Henry.
Was St. Thomas More's center fielder on the play. My papers are going to blow away if I'm not careful. I'm trying to get to the deeper part of my roster, and I'm struggling. Bear with me. Here we go. Getting the interception for St. Thomas More on that play was Henry Watanowitz. Here come the Cavaliers. Here comes Max Spade. And he has the touchdown. Max Spade takes it to the house from 37 yards out, and the Cavs lead 6-0. Wow, that did not take long. First play from scrimmage, and the Cavs hit pay dirt with the wind at their back. There's a good play to Max, and Max takes it to the house, and that gives the Cavaliers an early 6-0 lead. We haven't even played a full minute of this game. So Speed helps force an interception. Then he gets a touchdown. Stamper drills the extra point into the fence over near the cornfield, and the Cavaliers have a 7-0 lead here at Lakota Tech. What a start for the Cavaliers. They generate an interception with Max Speed coming on the outside with a blitz. Henry Watanowitz, I had just mentioned, he was getting recognized for his progress on the way down when I talked to Coach Hagan. And then Watanowitz, after the pick, sets up the offense with great field position, and the Cavs score a touchdown. Max Speed on the sweep gets the Cavs on top 7-0 with 11:07 to go here in the first quarter. What a start for the Cavaliers. Cavaliers trying to put up their third consecutive shutout on the season, going back to the road win at Chamberlain. They would love to get some separation, and you know, I know that Tatanka may have wanted that ball first when they won the toss, but man, I think the wind is more valuable than the first possession. I really do. The wind is absolutely howling from north to south right now, and we are on top of the press box. Believe me, we can attest to the factor this wind is having in this game. And there's another kick through the end zone. Again, the wind at Carter Stamper's back, and the Cavaliers now on defense again with the Tatanka having 1st and 10 for their second drive of the game at their own 20-yard line. Tatanka playing a very rigorous Class A schedule, coming into this game 0-4. The Tatanka actually have 9 opponents. That's not something you see very often. Tatanka go 3 wide, twins to the near side, one man split to the right. The quarterback, Red Bear, waits for the snap. Going in motion is Olin 3 stars, so we have a whistle and a procedural penalty called against Lakota Tech, and that'll bring up 1st down and 15 for the Tatanka near the shadow of their own goalposts. You are listening to Security First Bank coverage of St. Thomas More football. The number 3 and undefeated Cavs leading 7-0. We haven't even played a minute. There's a high snap. Ball is loose. Who has it? And the quarterback recovers at the 4-yard line. Good play there by, look like Sia Red Bear able to dive on that football, and that'll bring up 2nd down and a country mile. They gave forward progress on the recovery at the 5. Cavs potentially could get a safety here or generate a defensive score. You never know. The Cavaliers, combined with wind howling at 40 to 50 miles per hour right in the face of the Tatanka offense, have everything going. The Cavs will stunt Here comes a snap to Red Bear. Hunter Brewer gets out of the end zone but doesn't get any yardage. He loses 4 yards and is tackled at the 1 yard line. And St. Thomas More now will force a punt for, check that, it'll be 3rd down. And let's go ahead and call it 28 for the Tatanka. They need to reach their own 30. They've run a couple of plays and lost 18 yards. Red Bear, the quarterback, standing in the end zone. Snap count at 13. Here comes the snap. Back to throw. Red Bear. He throws it deep, and it's almost caught. Great effort by Bentley Red Cloud. Red Cloud, in a sea of humanity, almost came down with a big catch for the Tatanka. Instead, the Tatanka will have to punt from their own end zone with 9:28 remaining in the first quarter, and the Cavs leading 7-0. We apologize if you're picking up the wind on our microphone. It is that windy. It's 50-mile-per-hour winds, we think, on top of the press box here at Lakota Tech High School. Here comes the punt for Lakota Tech. Hunter Brewer to punt it away. There's a high snap. We got a whistle, and we'll see what this penalty's all about. We may have had some pre-snap motion that was not allowed. If that's the penalty, it will just mean half the distance to the goal. There might have been too many players on the field, too, for Lakota Tech. Officials having a conference. And we'll see what the call happens to be. And looks like it is a penalty against Lakota Tech. It'll remain 4th down. And now, as if you couldn't put the ball any closer to the goal line, that's what will happen. So now we will have a punt at the back of the end zone. Punter standing behind the T and the second tee in Tatanka, painted in the end zone. Here comes the punt. The wind pushing it backwards. It takes a good Lakota Tech bounce, and the Cavs think about returning it, and they decide not to. And that ball will be down at the 20. So the Cavaliers get the most ideal short field you could ever hope for if there was no shanked punt, because the wind combined with a very close spot towards the Tatanka goal line gives the Cavs 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line of Lakota Tech. Cavs line up 3 wide, speed, split on the right side is at the tight end. Juvie in the backfield. In motion, speed. Hand off to Juvie. He's at the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown! Great Juvie runs through the end zone and towards the cornfield. And the Cavaliers have a 13-0 lead. 2 plays, 2 touchdowns, and a defense with the wind completely controlling proceedings on the south side of this field. Wow, the Cavs are up 13-0 with 9:12 to go here in the first quarter. Carter Stamper to line up and kick a very windy PAT try. Nielsen to snap. Ball down. Negebauer puts it down. The kick is up, and it's good. This time the ball does not go into the cornfield. The Cavaliers have a 14-0 lead on the road here at Lakota Tech. Well, the Cavs couldn't have started anything better than the way they have tonight. It did not take the Cavaliers even 3 minutes to get a 2-score lead on the road against a Class A opponent here at Pine Ridge tonight. So glad to have you with us. We will bring you a soccer doubleheader tomorrow night. The Lady Cavs starting at 5 o'clock at Cavalier Field. We will bring you a special Saturday night of soccer. It'll be the boys' senior night, And in addition to that, we'll have the boys soccer broadcast. So join us for a soccer doubleheader. We may join the girls game in progress. I have a commitment at News Radio KOTA with South Dakota Mines versus Fort Lewis back at our studios. As soon as that game is over, I'll make my way over to St. Thomas More High School, and we will bring you the doubleheader in as much of its entirety as possible. Here comes a kick by Stamper, and it's good! It went through the uprights! How about that? There we go. Very happy, proud father, Jason Stamper, your camera operator, watching his son drill a 70-yard field goal. Now we know he can do what Cam Little can do. And these NFL, make sure that was caught on camera. And it was by his father, who's our Security First Bank Cavalier Sports Network camera operator tonight. Wow. It's amazing what that wind can do. Here we go. First down and 10 for the Tatanka. Cavs are swarming to the ball carrier, and there's a tackle. Making the stop, Cole Nielsen. Nielsen absolutely locked down Hunter Brewer, tackled him for a loss of 3 yards back to the 17. The Tatanka yet to record a gain from scrimmage on any of their opening 9 plays in this football game. That's how dominant the Cavaliers have been. Again, this win doing no favors to the Tatanka, and if they bet they had to do it over again, they would have given up the ball just to be with the wind. Here we go, man in motion. Red Bear, the quarterback, throws a flare pass. It's incomplete. There was the umpire on that play was unintentionally in the middle of that route. Made it pretty hard to run the play. Just a bad break there for Lakota Tech. 8:25 to go. Every incomplete pass, of course, stops the clock. Cavaliers are playing like a serious state championship contender tonight. Cavs go 5 down. 2 linebackers, back to throw Red Bear. Red Bear throws, his pass is incomplete. Pass was intended for Michael, brings him back. And Michael brings him back, could not make the catch on the play. It'll be 4th down and 13 for Lakota Tech. So the Cavaliers force yet another punt. The Cavs, again, yet to give up a single play of positive yardage for Lakota Tech. Lakota Tech sticking to the passing game against STM. Here comes Brewer on the punt. Brewer punts it, or Rob Dubai punts it. His bounces over to Kane McLeod. McLeod, the Swiss Army knife, is loose. He's at the 30, the 25, the 20, the 10. Touchdown for the second time this season. The Swiss Army knife, Kane McLeod, runs it in for a touchdown. A 40-yard kick return. And as the sun gets covered by the clouds to the west of us, the Cavs are eclipsing the Lakota Tech Tatanka on the scoreboard with a 20-0 lead. What a tremendous return by Kane McLeod. We call him the Swiss Army knife because the man does everything he can and does it well for this team. Here comes the kick for Stamper, and it's good. This bounces off the fence, almost goes into the cornfield. The Cavs lead a Tatanka team on their home field 21-0 here at Lakota Tech High School with 8:06 to go in the first quarter. Want to thank all of our great sponsors who bring you our broadcast. Want to thank our good friends at Collins Siding, Gene, the team that has been taking care of Rapid City for over 50 years. Look to Collins Siding for your next building project. And let's go ahead and pass along also our appreciation to these fine sponsors. Strain Chiropractic, Culver's Restaurant. By the way, I had the salted caramel pumpkin spice custard today. Oh, it was so good. That's right. Pumpkin spice is back, everybody, at Culver's now through the fall. Quinn Construction, proud sponsors of the Cavalier Sports Network, as is Shields, Watiki Water Park, Rosenbaum Signs, Meyer Dental, South Dakota National Guard, The Market at Tuscany Square, and Monument Health, the official athletic training partner of St. Thomas More Athletics, and of course trainer Kristen Whitley here for the Cavs tonight. The Cavaliers leading 21-0. Long kick by Stamper is just right of the goalpost this time. Yeah, the PA announcer giving Carter Stamper his due for drilling what would have been a 70-yard field goal had it not been a kickoff, but been a field goal try. It's amazing what you can do with the wind at your back. I discovered when I was in Colorado Springs once, it's amazing how far I could throw the ball when I played football at 6,000 feet above sea level, or near 7,000 feet. Here we go. First down and 10. Tatanka goes 3 wide. Brewer in the backfield. Red Bear, the quarterback, in the gun. Hands off to Brewer. Hunter Brewer gets close to the line of scrimmage. Coming in and making the tackle for STM on that play was Josh Elder. Elder that time refusing to allow the Tatanka to gain a yard. 10 plays unofficially for Lakota Tech, 0 positive gains. The Cavaliers as dominant can be so far. Tatanka go 4 wide. In motion goes the receiver across the formation, and we've got a whistle and a penalty. It looks like we're going to have a motion penalty on Lakota Tech, and there is a procedural penalty on Lakota Tech. That'll push the Tatanka back 5 more yards, bringing up 2nd down and 16 for Lakota Tech. Cavaliers defensive front putting on a clinic so far. Max Spreed, Brody Lee starting at defensive end. Cole Nielsen, Rush Turner, absolutely dominating. And then there's Elder to clean things up. Here comes a throw, and it's incomplete. Red Bear throws into the flat, and there was a good play by Henry Watanowitz. He was in the neighborhood. And how about Henry Watanowitz? He is really coming on strong. So is Cooper Sales. We have some players on this Cavalier team that you sense are going to have very important roles down the stretch and into the 11B playoffs, in addition to the excellent senior class. Here we go. 3rd down and 16 for Lakota Tech. Bear in the gun, flanked by 2 backs. There's a pass, and it's almost picked off. That ball was nearly picked by STM. In the neighborhood on that play was Cooper Sales, who I just mentioned about a minute earlier. So here we go again. A 4th down. The wind still absolutely howling at Lakota Tech, and I'm sure Lakota Tech wishes they had taken the wind in the first half. Here we go. Here comes a punt. It's a high punt, and Speed tries to get the block. Can't do it. That punt doesn't go very far. It takes an STM bounce and is down at the 22-yard line. So again, the Cavaliers, with a short field and a 21-0 lead, take over 1st and 10 at the Lakota Tech 22-yard line. So far in this game, we've got a max speed touchdown of 37 yards. A touchdown run of 19 yards by Graydon Juvie, and a Kane McLeod kick return of 40 yards. Here come the Cavs. Cavs go 4 wide. The commander, Noah Wald, in the gun, throws the pass to McLeod. McLeod in trouble, gets wrapped up and knocked off his pins, but not before he picks up 8 yards, including 3 yards after contact. That'll bring up 2nd down and 2 for St. Thomas More. Cavs are in their all-white road uniforms tonight with blue striping, with the black helmets and the STM blue Holy Cross emblem. Cavs will now go 4 wide. Twins to the bottom, twins to the top. In the gun, in an empty backfield is Wald. The commander calls the count, gives the ball. No, he's going to keep it on a run pass option. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He will score. Noah Wald scores a touchdown. A touchdown from 15 yards out. What a remarkable play by the commander, Noah Wald, and he sold that play big time. Give him a commission and a touchdown with that ring of sail right there. That time Noah did such a marvelous job of holding onto the ball and executing the RPO like David Copperfield runs a magic show. Mercy, 27-0, the Cavs are up. Stamper with the PAT kick, and it's good. And this ball goes to the fence near the cornfield again. St. Thomas More 28, Lakota Tech nothing. 6:23 to go here in the first quarter. The Cavaliers are absolutely rolling. And what a great move in the open field. Noah Wald put on his defender for Lakota Tech. That Lakota Tech defender, he had position and containment, but Wald just kind of put on a move that really froze the defender, and Wald flashed the speed. We know what a great passer the commander is, but Noah Wald has some wheels, and he just demonstrated that on that touchdown. So now Noah Wald joins Max Speed, Kane McLeod, and Graydon Juvie as Cavaliers who have scored touchdowns in the south end zone here in the first quarter. We still have over half of the first quarter to go. This is bordering on a historic first quarter scoring explosion. Here comes the kick from Stamper. And does he make another 70-yarder? Not this time. Stamper made a kick that would have earned a handshake from the Jaguars' Cam Little on his kickoff a few moments ago, when from his own 40 he split the uprights with the wind howling 50 miles per hour from north to south here at Lakota Tech High School. There is definitely no windbreak. We are located east of the community of Pine Ridge, South Dakota. You can see Pine Ridge in the distance from here on top of our press box. It's actually a very pretty setting to be bringing you this game. It's just a windy setting. Red Bear throws a flare-out pass, incomplete. Pass was intended for freshman Hunter Brewer. Brewer saying he didn't really have a chance to spot the ball. Now Red Bear comes back for a conversation from Eric Swiftwater, his head coach. Asia Red Bear, the junior quarterback, trying to engineer a drive, but so far the Tatanka, they have yet to gain a yard from scrimmage, with the Cavs on top 28-0. Here we go, the Tatanka go 3 wide, handoff to Brewer, and there's a wrap up and a tackle for a loss. The public address announcer here getting the fans involved. They have turned the Friday night lights on. The last glimpses of sunset going over the plains south of the Black Hills right here. We're very close to the South Dakota-Nebraska state line. We're actually closer to Rushville than we are Rapid City. Here we go, 5:43 and counting. The Tatanka rotate one player off. Oh, here comes another player on. Some confusion as to the personnel grouping for Lakota Tech. Lakota Tech will put triplets to the bottom of the formation. One man split to the right. Red Bear in the gun, Brewer in the backfield behind Red Bear. We're waiting for the play to begin, and I don't know what we're waiting for. Now we have a conference, the coaches for Lakota Tech wanting an explanation about something. And I think we're ready to resume. 28-0. St. Thomas More on top.
Coming out. Looks like we got Doug Patton coming in.
Doug Patton is coming in for Lakota Tech, coming in to play left tackle. 3rd down and 10 for the Tatanka. Check that, 3rd and 15. Back to throw Red Bear. Red Bear's pass is incomplete. Nearly picked off by Graydon Juvie. Juvie playing safety almost got the ball, but that pass was incomplete, and it's 4th down and another punting situation. Graydon Juvie and Kane McLeod are set to return. We're broadcasting on top of the press box here at Lakota Tech High School. 50-mile-per-hour winds are pushing us around, but Jason Stamper and I, we're not getting moved. Here comes a shank punt, and the wind takes it out inside the 10. Max Speed that time was tackled. He wasn't blocked, he was tackled. There was no flag. So Max is okay. He kind of went down awkwardly, but I think Max is all right. He's standing upright, and let's see where they spot this punt. This punt with the wind was almost like watching a bicycle kick, and the ball goes out at the 1-yard line. That was a net punt of -5 yards, and the Cavs will have it 1st down and goal to begin this drive. A chance for a 1-yard touchdown drive right here. In the gun, it's Wald. In motion, Speed. Wald takes a snap. Bubble screen pass. There's a pitch, and there's a touchdown! Touchdown! St. Thomas More, and scoring his first touchdown in his career is Brody Lee. Brody came around. He reported as eligible on the play. Took the pitch from Max Speed on the bubble screen from Wald, and it's 34-0. Wow, Brody Lee gets a touchdown, and Brody shared that as his favorite childhood memory. Let's cover this PAT kick. Kick is up from Stamper, and it's through. It's 35-0. Brody Lee shared a story on Meet the Cavaliers that his favorite childhood football memory was when he caught his only touchdown in midget level football to win a game in 3rd or 4th grade, and now Brody Lee scores a touchdown tonight. Well, that's just the type of magical moment that makes all of us Cavalier family members just so happy. And Brody, way to go, Brody Lee. Touchdown, Brody Lee. St. Thomas More 35, Lakota Tech 0. Mike Fell along with Jason Stamper high atop the field here at Lakota Tech High School. The Cavaliers up 35-0 with 5:10 to play, and the Cavs have yet to give up a single yard of offense on any play in this game to Lakota Tech. The chain gang has either been neutralized or stretched backwards all night long, and the wind has not abated one bit. If I had thrown a piece of paper up into the air at kickoff, it would be somewhere near Chadron, Nebraska right about now. Unless I suppose it got caught up by the pine trees on top of Pine Ridge. Here we go. Curtis Farnsworth will hold this kickoff. Right now the wind is pushing the ball on these kickoffs like Lucy used to handle holds with in the Charlie Brown CBS TV shows. Here we go. Carter Stamper to kick it off. Here comes Carter. He kicks it far. Is it through the uprights? No, not this time. If you're just joining us, Carter Stamper drilled a 70-yard kick that would have been a 70-yard field goal earlier in the first quarter of this game. The Tatanka yet to record a kick return because every kick by Carter Stamper has been in the end zone, through the end zone, or through the uprights. The Tatanka are back on offense. The Cavaliers with 5 touchdowns tonight, including one from 1 yard on a hook and ladder a moment ago from tackle-eligible Brody Lee. All right, the Tatanka with some switching up positions. Red Bear going to give the ball to Brewer. Brewer's tackled for a loss of 3. That time, good penetration came from the edge for St. Thomas More. Making the tackle for STM right there was Jackson Rush. Jackson Rush with a great tackle. And it'll be 2nd down and 13. Can you play any better than this? I don't think so. I sure don't think so. 2nd down and 13. Back to throw Red Bear. His pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage. That time Brody Willett's able to get a hand on the pass from Asia Red Bear, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 13. Cavs refuse to give up a yard to the Tatanka offense. 5 Cavaliers have scored. In order, Max Speed, Graydon Juvie, Noah Wald, Brody Lee. I'm missing someone. They'll come to me in a moment. Cavaliers just absolutely. Oh, Kane McLeod. McLeod with that kick, that punt return for a touchdown. So in order, it's Speed, Juvie, McLeod, Wald, and Lee. Your 5 touchdown scorers so far. Here we go, 3rd down and 16, and we've got a whistle and another procedural penalty on Lakota Tech. Lakota Tech players shaking their head. The Tatanka will now have it 3rd down and 23. The clock stopped at 4:28 to go. The Cavs had a 35-0 lead at home last year at the end of the first quarter against Lakota Tech. They already have a 35-0 lead. There's a pass over the middle. It's incomplete. And we have a Cavalier shaken up in the end zone. That is not a good sign. And Kristen Whitley, I think, getting signaled to come out and attend to the player, and Coach Hagan is concerned. Coming in on the blitz was a Cavalier. I think, I'm not going to say who it is because I'm not 100% sure. But I don't know if that is a cramp or an injury. It could be an injury, though. We have a Cavalier lying on his back in the south end zone of the stadium. Cavaliers right now, they are on their knees. They are praying for their fallen teammate. We do not know who is down. We can't see the number from here. Now the player is getting up. Let's hope he's okay. Now he's walking. It might be Marty Reeve. I think it's Marty Reeve, and I think Marty's going to be okay. 72, it's Marty Reeve. So Marty's okay. He was on his back. We were all very concerned. Marty, the younger brother of the legendary All-State senior from last year's team, Gabe Reeve. Gabe, you're making us so proud.
Good team out there.
Serving our country and being at achieving great things at the Naval Academy. What a man, Gabe Reeve. Here we go. Here comes the punt from the end zone. The wind gets a hold of it. It takes a bounce and gets down at the 19-yard line by Lakota Tech. And the Cavs will take over again in super plus territory. First down and 10 at the 17-yard line. Cavaliers have scored on all 4 of their drives tonight. The longest touchdown drive they had of the night was of 40 yards. That was the first snap from scrimmage. The Cavaliers, if they scored here with 4:19 to go, they're going to be in some very rarefied air, and it may very well be a program record. Not sure if any Cavalier team has ever scored over 40 points in the first quarter against an opponent. You may be witnesses to history on this next snap, fans. Can the Cavs break 40 points? They're going to take over first and 10 at the Lakota Tech 17-yard line. The Cavaliers go 4 wide. I formation set. Wald in the gun. Elder in the backfield. Wald calls the count, takes the snap. He actually going to give a quarterback up the run up the middle, and that's going to be Robert Heeg, the sophomore, getting his first carry of the season. Heeg, Hayden's younger brother, gets inside the 10 and is tackled at the 9. Well, good job by Robert Heeg getting his first carry. And we have a new quarterback out there for the Cavs. That's Caleb Wald, the freshman younger brother of Noah Wald. There's a pass, and it's caught for a touchdown. Xander Zanstra with a touchdown. Xander makes history for the Cavs. They are over 40 points, we believe, for the first time in a first quarter in school history. St. Thomas More 41, Lakota Tech 4-0. Caleb Wald passes a touchdown pass to Xander Zanstra. That's 8th grader Caleb Wald throwing the ball to 9th grader Zanstra. Kick by Stamper is good. He's 6 for 6 from his PAT attempts, and it's 42-0 St. Thomas More. The Cavs now with 6 touchdowns by 6 different Cavaliers. The seniors seem to be done for the night. It's all Cavaliers reserves seemingly the rest of the way. There is a very long line, by the way, at the concession stand. Cavaliers right now putting Lakota Tech in a position no team wants to find itself in. Cavs will kick off again with the wind at their back. The wind is just as strong now as it was when we kicked off. The sun has set. It is nighttime, and the Cavs lead 42-0. 3:37 to play. Can't thank Jason Stamper enough for volunteering and being a camera operator so you can see all the action. There's a kick. It's through the end zone. What a busy night Carter Stamper has had. He has made it so there has not been a single kick return for Lakota Tech, and he's made all 6 of his PAT tries. STM, the last 2 scores have been from Brody Lee and Xander Zanstra. Cavaliers with reserves on the field throughout the defense right now. The Tatanka hurry to get a player off and avoid a penalty. Let's see what the first string Tatanka offense can do against the Cavs reserves. And there's been a quarterback change for the Tatanka. The new quarterback replacing Asia Redbear appears to be Sinqua Nelson. I'm hoping I'm saying the name properly. 2nd down and 11. Clock in motion. Cavs yet to give up a yard. You better believe the seniors and the veteran starters told the reserves, you're not giving up any yards, okay? Here comes the pass. Flare out pass to Brewer. Tackled for another loss. A pair of Cavs came in and made the stop. Quan Harper was in on the tackle. Also on the stop was Marty Reeve. Cavaliers keeping the clock moving, continuing to prevent a positive play from scrimmage for Lakota Tech. I have seen some very dominant performances in my 30 years of high school football broadcasting. I've never seen a more dominant performance than this one so far. Back to throw is Thompson. Thompson throws and it's intercepted, and that's a house call, a pick 6. Touchdown by Bryson Menkos, a 5'10" sophomore for the Cavaliers. Bryson Menkos makes it 48-0. Jacob, did I get the last name correct? Is it Menkos or Menkos? We're going to go with Menkos with a traditional German pronunciation. 48-0 Cavaliers. St. Thomas More will line up for another Carter Stamper PAT. 2:04 to go in the first quarter. Wow! How about these Cavs? Here comes a PAT kick. Snap back, ball down, Stamper's kick is good. 7 for 7, and this ball goes into the cornfield on a bounce. St. Thomas More 49, Lakota Tech nothing. Wow! These Cavs are an unstoppable force. They have sent most of the fans for Lakota Tech to the concession stand line. And for St. Thomas More, every moment another chance for some of the younger players to make a mark, to score, to make a tackle, to get an interception. And what a great play there by Bryson Menkos on 3rd and 12. He gets a pick 6, a moment he will never forget in his Cavalier football career. Carter Stamper will put the ball down at the 40. We'll see if Farnsworth is the holder here. The wind still whipping around. It's not quite as windy as it was, but gusts still in excess of 40 miles per hour. Cavs well on their way to starting 5-0 on the 2025 season. Stamper, well, I think we're going to have a new kicker, actually. Keegan Reed. We've had Keegan before help us on the Security First Bank Cavalier Sports Network. He kicks a squib kick. Here comes a return, and that's going to be a tackle before he gets to the 26-yard line by, believe, Quan Harper. Well, the Cavaliers are absolutely in control. We've reached the 1:55 mark of the first quarter. I don't know what the rules are when you get over 50 points and you're still in the first half. Do you call the game, or do you play all the way to the halftime intermission? We will find out together. It's kind of like when my old Corolla got over 400,000 miles. I was told it would stop on the odometer at 39999. Thompson rolls out. He gets tackled. But once I got to 400,000 miles on my car, well, it just kept going upwards from there until he hit his final resting place this winter at 414,000 miles. There's a tackle and a loss of 5. It'll bring up second down and 15. Cavaliers reserve defenders swarming to the ball just like the starting unit did. Clock in motion, 1:19. Again, St. Thomas More, 7 touchdowns. They have not given up a single positive yard from scrimmage to the Tatanka offense. So we've got a whistle, and a timeout is called by Lakota Tech. Eric Swiftwater wants to talk things over with the Tatanka. Always an opportunity to teach, make the team better. 1:07 to go in the first quarter. The Cavs, we believe, with a program school record of 49 points in the first quarter. We think that is a quarter record. It almost has to be, with the way you would close out a game with a 50-point lead after half. And we think that is a school record for the first quarter. It might even be approaching a state record. I know that when I was broadcasting in Northwest Kansas, the first rounds of the 2007 Kansas 2A 1A state tournament, the Smith Center Redmen, they were able to set the national record with a 73-0 total at the end of the first quarter over the Plainville Cardinals. Here comes a flare-out pass, and that's an incompletion. That stops the clock with 1:01 to go in the first quarter. So I did see Smith Center, Kansas. I wasn't there, but I was nearby that night. Set the national 11-man record of 73-0 at the end of the first quarter. And how about that being a state playoff game, incidentally? But the Cavaliers, they're probably not going to get the national record of 73-0, but maybe they'll get a state record if they can score another touchdown here before the end of the first quarter, leading 49-0. Triplets to the right side of the alignment, and the receivers run, and there's no snap. Johnny Thompson, just looking around saying, come on, man. And the Tatanka commit another penalty, and it's third down and 18. Clock still at 1:01 to go in the first quarter. The Cavs closing in on a historic victory. We're not sure if we'll play the whole first half or not. Back to throw is Johnny Thompson. Thompson running, and he gets tackled again for a loss. Brody Willits makes the tackle near the sideline, and that stops the clock because the quarterback was tackled as he went out of bounds. So the Cavs will get the ball here. Henry Watanowicz set to return along with Xander Zanstra. Cavs with a chance to break 50 points here in the first quarter. And this might end the game too. We're not sure. Here comes the kick. And it's a kick out of bounds off the fingertips of Coach Speed. And that's going to give the Cavs great field position yet again with 46 seconds to go. Can STM break 50 points with 46 seconds to go here in the first quarter? The Cavs might set a state record here. They are 18 yards away, perhaps, from 11-man football history here in the Rushmore State. Mike Fell along with Jason Stamper on the roof of the press box here at Lakota Tech. 3 wide for the Cavs. There's some confusion. Caleb Wald's pass is incomplete. The Blue Baron Slusarski could not bring in that pass. Good try there by the Blue Baron. Caleb Wald maybe had the wind to get a hold of that toss. And that stops the clock with 42 seconds to go. Caleb Wald, the next in waiting, we believe, at quarterback behind his big brother, sophomore Noah Wald, a.k.a. the Commander. Cavs go 4 wide. Back to throw, Caleb Wald. Wald goes to the end zone. Touchdown! The Cavs did it with 36 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Cavs may have just won the game. They at least have made history, we think. They have 55 points. Making the catch was Brody Willits. Willits, the 8th man to score, makes it 55-0. Stamper will now try to go 8 for 8 in the first quarter. Wow! How about these Cavs? Cavs making a statement heard around the state. Here comes a PAT kick, and it's good. 56 for St. Thomas More. Lakota Tech, nothing. And it looks like we will continue to play on. 35 seconds to go. The national record is the Smith Center Redmond with 73 points. The Plainville Cardinals with no score at the end of the 2007 first round of the Kansas State 2A, 1A playoffs. But the Cavaliers are 18 points behind the state record, the national record for greatest first quarter in 11-man history. But we have to think the Cavs may own the South Dakota state record after that Caleb Wald touchdown pass to Brody Willits. 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Cavs absolutely dominating Lakota Tech on the road tonight here just to the east of Pine Ridge, South Dakota. Wow. All Cavs, in all caps. Cavs have not given up a single positive yardage play in the first half under outstanding defensive coordinator Craig Nowotny in his 50th year coaching the Cavalier D. Keegan Reed with a squibber. It's taken at the 30. Running hard and getting absolutely popped by Thomas O'Mara was Lakota Tech's up man on the return, Sebastian Janice. Janice just got knocked into next week by Tom O'Mara. Wow. Man alive, what a lick by Thomas O'Mara. Putting on a stamp on that return man for Lakota Tech. Whoa, that kid can hit. 2 seconds, 1 second, that'll do it. We've reached the end of the first quarter. And I think that is going to be it for the game. The round of applause coming, or will we play the second quarter? I'm not sure. The Tatanka are shifting to the other side of the field. I don't know if we're playing the second quarter. We have reached the end of the first quarter. It's St. Thomas More 56, Lakota Tech nothing. The public address announcer said give these teams a round of applause. Good job, but neither team has come out to shake hands, and the ball is at the 35. So we think this game will continue on throughout the second quarter. So get ready. The Cavaliers may be putting up a number of astronomical proportions if the second quarter is anything like the first. The Tatanka now with the wind at their back, finally, trailing 56-0. The Tatanka, we think, won the toss, chose to receive, and that decision may have proven to be as ill-fated as a Mariners' decision to take a big ship towards the rocks, because the wind really has wreaked havoc. Here we go. Thompson being chased by Curtis Farnsworth, who gets a sack. Big Curtis Farnsworth drops the boom on Thompson, and that is the first sack in the career of Curtis Farnsworth right there. And the national record, I do know in football, the national record is 73-0 in the first quarter. As I was in Kansas the night the record was set calling a football game. Can't remember which game. I think it was the Oakley Plainsmen against maybe the Sublette Larks. Here we go. Second down and 15. Man in motion. Quarterback Thompson going to give the ball, and this is a reverse, and this is going to be a gain for the first time tonight. The Tatanka gain yardage. It's a gain of 5 yards. Give Eric Swiftwater credit. He pulled a reverse out of the playbook, and that produces positive yards for the first time tonight. The Cavaliers went over 13 minutes in this game on defense without giving up any yards. Wow. Absolutely remarkable performance for St. Thomas More. Thompson in the gun. Takes the snap. The Tatanka go out for a pass. There's a pass, and it's a bouncer. Incomplete. It lands on the Buffalo logo, the very awesome looking Lakota Tech Tatanka logo at midfield. This field, this facility, it's state of the art, and it is awesome. The high school is truly remarkable. What an amazing school Lakota Tech High School is. They have had a lot of success in girls basketball. You may recall STM beat Lakota Tech in the first round on the way to their last state championship. There's a snap and a huge loss as Hunter Brewer gets on a errant snap and is down at the 17. So the Cavaliers will take over again with the short field, but this time with the wind in their face going right to left across your screen. St. Thomas More came up only 17 points behind the national record held by the Smith Center Redmond. Here we go. Cavs go 4 wide. Caleb Wald in the gun. Here comes a handoff. Running with it is Robert Heeg, and he will score! Robert gets into the pylon. Touchdown, Cavaliers. St. Thomas More is on top, 62-0. And that's the second touchdown of the night by Robert Heeg. And Robert Heeg with the touchdown, he becomes the first Cavalier, if you can believe it, No, he becomes the first Cavalier of the night to score twice in this game. St. Thomas More has had remarkably balanced scoring in this one. Now here comes Stamper trying to go 9 for 9 on the PAT tries. This time against the wind, and he does not get the ball into the air, and he has his first errant kick of the night. But if you're just joining us, Stamper, with the wind at his back, had a 70-yard kickoff that went through the uprights. That was NFL material with the big leg of Carter Stamper. The Cavaliers are on top 62 to nothing. We will play this game all the way to the intermission. We do not have a continuous clock. This game could very well get into the 80s or 90s.
Let's give a round of applause for the middle school and the Jaguars here in our Lakota territory, doing a good job playing.
The Cavaliers are in control. Let's say thank you to our great sponsor, Security First Bank. They remind you every team needs a strong defense. Protect what matters most with health and life insurance from Security First Insurance. Your coverage, your peace of mind. Insurance products are not FDIC insured, have no bank guarantee, and may lose value. Well, it looks like we're going to have a hold, and Keegan Reed will kick into the wind. Keegan Reed was a one-time cameraman for the Security First Bank Cavalier Sports Network under the direction of technical director Braden Strain. I remember Keegan Reed getting some Taco Bell. Here comes the high kick. It's fielded at the 23. Lakota Tech returning the ball. It's going to be Derek Dezerce with the return of about 5 yards ahead to the 30-yard line. St. Thomas More in complete control. 9 touchdowns in this one. We believe they set a state record with the most points in a first quarter of a game with a 56-0 score. They did not get the national record. That is owned by Smith Center, Kansas, in a playoff game over Plainville back 18 years ago. Here we go, back to throw. Pass over the middle is almost intercepted. Red Cloud was the intended receiver. 2 Cavs were in on tight coverage. Caleb Wald and Xander Zanstra, 2 names you're going to hear a lot over the next several years. 2nd down and 10 for the Tatanka. Cavaliers with reserve defensive players out there right now. No seniors except Gabe Reeve out there at the moment. Not Gabe Reeve, Marty Reeve. Here we go. Back to throw is Thompson, and the pass is intercepted! Xander Zanstra, double Z with a pick. What a great play by Xander Zanstra. Zanstra gives the Cavs the ball back at their own 32-yard line. What a great play by Xander Zanstra. Impressive performance by Xander tonight. He has been in on everything he has been able to be involved with. I heard big things about Xander way back in June when I had lunch with Coach Austin Hagen at the Colonial House. I'll tell you, he loves Xander, and I think all of you fans love him too. I know I love Xander. He's only a freshman, but man, is he awesome. He's special. Here comes the throw. Flare out pass. Caught by the Blue Baron. Baron Susarski. He's putting on the moves. He's all the way out to the 47. It takes 5 to tackle the Blue Baron. in the open field. That's got to bring a big smile to his dad, Mitch, who was a legendary Columbus Discoverer player back in the day in Class A football in Nebraska. Wow. The Blue Baron making some magic happen on that pass from Caleb Wald. 8:35 and counting. Cavs with first down and 10 at their own 46. Cavs go 4 wide. Tripwich to the top of the alignment. In the gun, Caleb Wald, the 8th grade quarterback, gives to Hig. Hig running hard. He is going to get pushed out. Zanstra, rather, with a carry. And Xander Zanstra picks up 14 yards down to the 39 of the Tatanka. Xander Zanstra showing some shiftiness in the open field. St. Thomas More right now showing the future. To quote the late great Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince, I have seen the future and it will be. I have seen the future and it works. Wow, here come the Cavs. Wald rolls to his right, throws a flare-out pass, it's incomplete. Wind perhaps knocked down that pass intended for Baron Slusarski, the Blue Baron. The Cavaliers, with 7:22 and counting, midway through the second quarter, they are chewing up some clock. And by the way, we do have a mutually agreed upon continuous clock here in the second quarter, so that is accelerating the second quarter quite a bit. Cavs go 4 wide. Back to throw is Wald. Wald throws and it's caught by Cooper Sales in the flat at the 35. Good catch by Cooper Sales. Wald to Sales. Cavs now bring up 3rd down and 6. Cavaliers reserves playing very well. And they're being sharp. And what does that say about where this program is on their mission to get to the Dome? That the reserves come out getting their first meaningful extended varsity action, and they're as sharp in their execution as the starters. What a tremendous program Austin Hagen and these coaches have here at STM. Here we go. Wald struggles to handle a shotgun snap, and a couple of Tatanka throw Caleb Wald for a loss back at the 44-yard line. If you're just joining us, St. Thomas More got out to a 56-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. They now will punt for the first time tonight. Broden Sales standing at the 40, and he is going to fake the punt. He's at the 50. He's in trouble. Breaks the tackle. He's at the 40, the 35 to 30. He might go. He's at the 20, the 10. Gets a block and scores. Broden Sales fakes a punt and scores a touchdown from 60 yards away. You might live your whole life and never see a play like that again. Wow! 68-0 St. Thomas More. Broden Sales, rather than kicking against a stiff 50-mile-per-hour wind, decides to take it, tuck it under and run. He was nearly tackled short of the first down. And then he was able to find an angle, create a crease, and take it the distance. The Cavaliers have a 68-0 lead. Wow. Now Carter Stamper to try a PAT kick. Trying to go 9 for 10, this time against the wind, and it's good. St. Thomas More, 69. Lakota Tech, nothing. The Cavaliers rolling and getting yet another special team score, but this time it was on a fake punt, a solo run by the punter Broden Sales, who of course is also an outstanding wide receiver and defender on this team. The Cavaliers, almost every Cavalier getting in the end zone one way or another tonight. This is a night no one will ever forget. St. Thomas More 69, Lakota Tech nothing. Reminds me a lot of the 1983 Nebraska Cornhuskers win at the Minnesota Golden Gophers at the old Metrodome in Minneapolis back in 1983. My grandparents went to that game, and the final score of that game was 83-10. Here comes a kick, and there's a collision, and a couple of Tatanka just jump on the ball like it's a live grenade at the 35-yard line. And the Tatanka will take over first down and 10, going left to right across your screen. Clock continuing to run. St. Thomas More 69, Lakota Tech nothing. The Cavaliers will be 5-0 when the night is over. And fans, they're coming home. The Cavs will be at home next Friday night. We'll have it for you at Cavalier Field. St. Thomas More will be hosting the Belle-Fourche Bronx, a long-time Black Hills Conference rivalry matchup. We'll have it for you next Friday night. Now here comes the Tatanka. Thompson, or rather Red Bear, back in the game. He was the original starting quarterback, and Red Bear throws a pass incomplete intended for Brewer. That'll bring up second down and 10. Did you know the Cavaliers tonight have only given up one play tonight that has produced any positive yardage? Did you know the Cavaliers tonight have scored 10 touchdowns? Check that. They've scored 11 touchdowns. We've got a whistle, and Eric Swiftwater calls a timeout, and the clock will stop with 3:26 to play. St. Thomas More showing great sportsmanship. When they got off the bus, they had instructions to just play football. Just play football, and that's what they've done. They've just played football. It has been so encouraging to see the younger players, and we'll talk to Coach Austin Hagan after the game. We'll talk to Coach Hagan about the contributions and the elevated, sharp performance of the younger players. A lot of these Cavalier players tonight getting their first meaningful varsity action, and man, have they taken advantage of it against this Class A opponent, Lakota Tech. The Tatanka, second down and 15. Back to throw. Thompson, or rather Red Bear, and his pass is incomplete. Intended target on that play was Bentley Red Cloud, the sophomore wide receiver, and Red Cloud's really been the primary read or target for the Tatanka's passing game. Tatanka yet to complete a pass that has produced any positive yardage. They did have a run on a reverse that gave them 5 yards. Here we go. Clock in motion. In motion. Back to throw is Red Bear. Red Bear. Cox fires, throws, and it's incomplete. He was looking for his target, Sinqua Nelson, and Nelson could not bring it in. Clock continuing to run. Continuous clock here with a 29-point margin in favor of the Cavaliers. St. Thomas More 69, Lakota Tech nothing. We're going to have doubleheader soccer action for you tomorrow night under the lights at Cavalier Field. Join the broadcast sometime between 5 and 6 o'clock. They'll be joining the girls' game in progress. Then we'll have the boys' game. We'll also have coverage of several sports senior night ceremonies and the boys' soccer senior night festivities. Red Bear throws downfield. There's a flag and a defensive pass interference against St. Thomas More. Keegan Reed committed a defensive pass interference penalty. That's a penalty on Keegan. And we will see a 15-yard penalty. That is the first penalty of the game for St. Thomas More. And reserve Keegan Reed commits a PI downfield.
Interference call on the Cavs.
So that will move the ball for the Tatanka into Cavalier territory for the first time this evening at the St. Thomas More 49. The Tatanka would love to avoid a shutout. The fans are really getting into it. They have great fans here at Lakota Tech. Here comes a QB, or a quick, direct snap out of the Wildcat formation. Dayton Eagle Bull picks up 3 yards, and that's the second positive yardage play from scrimmage in this first half for Lakota Tech. Good decisive play there by Eagle Bull. Dayton Eagle Bull makes it 2nd down and 7. The Tatanka break the huddle. Twins to both sides of the alignment. Under center, actually it's going to be Eagle Bull again in the Wildcat. He takes the snap, going to keep it himself. There's an option pitch, and that pitch to Brewer will be back to the line of scrimmage. And that'll keep the clock running. 1:27 and counting. This game getting very close to a long line of ceremonial handshakes and a very happy bus ride home to Rapid City. St. Thomas More 69. Lakota Tech nothing. 70 seconds and counting. The Cavs have had a night to remember. They have scored 10 touchdowns in this game. Wow. Only given up 2 positive plays from scrimmage by the Tatanka offense. 45 seconds and counting. Dayton Eagle Bull is going to throw, and his pass is intercepted by Caleb Wald. He's at the 40, and he will run out of bounds, and that may just about do it. Will the clock stop on time of possession? Yes, it will. So the Cavs, if they want to, may come out and just kneel down in victory formation. The Cavs are going to be 5-0. Now the wind finally is subsiding. It has been whipping and howling all night. But the Cavaliers are about ready with one more play to be 5-0. What a start, what a team, what a season, and what a performance tonight. St. Thomas More 69, Lakota Tech nothing. Cavs will line up in victory formation. Caleb Wald set to take a knee.
Last play here.
Final play of the game. And there's a kneel down, and that'll do it. The Cavaliers, for the 3rd time in as many games, have gone on the road and recorded a shutout. The Cavaliers are 5-0. The Cavaliers do not give up a single point in the month of September. Not 1 point to the Cavaliers under defensive coordinator Craig Nowotny give up a point in the month of September. How many teams in America get to say that? Your Cavs are 5-0. And I would be hard-pressed to imagine they don't move up from number 3 in the polls to a higher ranking. St. Thomas More 69. Lakota Tech nothing. Cavaliers with touchdowns from Brody Lee, Xander Zanstra, Broden Sales, Brody Willits, Graydon Juvie, Max Speed, and Kane McLeod, the Swiss Army knife. Have I missed anybody? Well, maybe. Actually, Willits, I think, had 2 touchdowns. Wow. Well, after a prayer and a gathering for the Cavaliers, and we again thank Jason Stamper so much for doing the yeoman's work here in 50-mile-per-hour conditions on the rooftop of the Lakota Tech football field press box. Coach Hagan talking to his players, but what can you say about the reserve unit for St. Thomas More? These young Cavaliers showing us that there will be some great football coming up for the Cavs after this season for sure. Oh my goodness.
Please, everybody, please take your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed a masterpiece performance that you'll never forget. And the good news is our games are archived. You get to go back and watch it again if you want to. How about Brody Lee during Meet the Cavaliers, our interview program with the seniors just about 48 hours ago? He says, my favorite memory was catching my only touchdown pass in the 3rd grade playing midget level football. And then after that, he goes ahead and gets a touchdown on a bubble screen hook and ladder play where Brody Lee reported as tackle eligible. And good for Brody. Comes from a great family. Oh man, it's so special to see Brody's touchdown and to see a childhood memory relived tonight in the Cavaliers' 69-0 win over the Lakota Tech Tatanka. We're going to look for Coach Hagan to join us here at the end of this game, which we really don't have a halftime show. We're just going to call it the Security First Bank post-game show because we have put this game in the books, and we're going to have a little picture here. Stone Durham has his camera out, and it looks like it's a picture of the younger players all together for doing such a great job, and I'm just going to clap. I can't help it, folks. I'm so proud of these Cavs, and you should be too. This is our team. This is our dream. This is our year. The Cavaliers are only 3 wins away from a perfect regular season. Does any team want to fight this Cavs team to take our dream of a state championship away? Well, bring it on. The Cavs will take on anybody, anywhere. And tonight, they only gave up 2 plays of positive yardage to a Class A opponent, Lakota Tech High School. And we're just going to wait for Coach Hagan to come on up. We got our headset plugged in for Coach, and looks like everybody's a little out of kilter with the conversations here, and it's just a different environment. Cavs played a near perfect game, and we're just going to wait for Coach Hagan to join us in the press box. And sometimes Coach Hagan gets a little intercepted by the parents, and we'll just see if we have Coach coming up here. And could I send you down, Jason, to look for Coach? Okay. So we're going to look for Coach Hagan to come up and join us. And
Some purses up here.
St. Thomas More wins tonight,
Some purses.
69-0. How about this Cavalier team? Let's go ahead and give you a quick scoring summary. First play of the game was a touchdown, a sweep to max speed of 41 yards. Full confession here, I looked down at my papers because the wind was blowing so hard, and when I looked up, Max had the ball and was on his way past the line of scrimmage, and he took it to the house. Second touchdown of the game was a Graydon Juvie touchdown run of 18 yards. Third touchdown of the game was a Kane McLeod punt return for a touchdown. The Swiss Army knife, the man who does it all and does everything with the score. The fourth touchdown of the game was a Noah Wald touchdown run of 20 yards for a score. The fifth touchdown of the game was especially memorable. It was a Brody Lee hook and ladder touchdown on a tackle eligible play. The sixth touchdown of the game was, I believe, a Caleb Wald to Zanstra touchdown. I think the seventh touchdown was a Bryson Mickhouse pick six touchdown. Then we had the Broden Sales 60-yard fake punt run for a touchdown. We had another touchdown run from Caleb Wald, and then it was just like a pinball machine. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. The Cavaliers lit it up, and on defense they were equally as impressive. Cavs with a +4 turnover ratio in this game, and St. Thomas More wraps up a perfect three towns September road trip with 3 consecutive shutouts. And we've got a neat picture in the end zone of Brody Lee with celebrating his touchdown. And Brody wears number 69, and that was our final score of 69 points. Way to go, Brody. What a night. And we just think the world of you, Brody. Brody Lee, 69 points and a touchdown. And is that it?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Not gonna be able to make it up.
All right, Coach Hagan won't be able to make it up tonight. Well, that'll do it for our broadcast this evening. The final score, St. Thomas More 69, Lakota Tech nothing. For Jason Stamper, our camera operator, who I cannot say thank you to enough. If you see Jason, tell him thanks for standing up here in 50-mile-per-hour windy conditions and doing a great job with the camera work. This is Mike Fell saying thank you for watching. The Cavaliers are 5-0, headed home tonight. We will see you for soccer doubleheader action tomorrow night, and we will bring you volleyball with camera only, no audio on Tuesday from the Security First Bank Court of Champions. And then we will have the Cavaliers volleyball match Thursday night with play-by-play action coming to you Thursday night. And then Friday night we will be at home at last. For the first time since August the 30th, the Cavaliers will be 5-0 and hosting the Belle-Fourche Bronx next Friday night, on the first Friday night in October. Well, we finished the August and September parts of our schedule. A perfect 5-0. Celebrate tonight, Cavs fans. STM 69. Lakota Tech nothing. For all of us at the Cavalier Sports Network, good night from Pine Ridge, South Dakota.